Hey everybody, this is Tina with 85th House Vibrations, and I'd like to welcome you to your weekly reading for the week of September 12th through September 18th. I've got three cards that are already laid out. We've got the Five of Pentacles, or the Five of Coins. We've got the Six of Wands, and we've got the Two of Swords. In no particular order, what I am getting for what's going to be going on next week primarily is that based on the choices that we make and the actions that we take, and I'll get back to some details here in a minute on that, based on the choices that we make that lead to the actions that we take, could leave us in the cold financially. Um, and there's more to that, but the overall messages for this reading, I feel, is that if we make some bad choices, we're going to take some bad actions, and we are going to find ourselves, like I said, out in the cold, feeling with frosty about our money, our personal relationships, and things like that. So just to go back and explain a little bit of what that means, the Five of Coins is, it operates under the energies of Mercury and Taurus. Mercury and Taurus is probably not the best place for Mercury to be. It's not a bad place, but it's also not one of the places of accelerated thinking. It's not a place of expansive thinking. Taurus is a fixed, slow moving sign. So if Mercury is in the sign of Taurus, then our thinking is going to be fixed and slow moving. I also think about Taurus as more of a traditional energy. But with the Five of Coins, if we've gotten ourselves into a jam and we are feeling out in the cold, because with the Five of Coins, and if I'm talking about losses, and this person looks to be outside and that looks like a baby, you know, some of us could be losing our homes, our financial stability, um, if we make some bad choices, and that leads us to some bad actions now, or some unwise choices and unwise actions. I shouldn't say bad. Fives, which we again see here with the Five of Coins, are about chaos and conflict, but it's also about creativity and freedom and thinking outside of the box. And I'm feeling like in order to avoid this frosty position that we may be feeling with the tangible things in our lives, that we are going to need to make some better choices. And the five is asking us to be creative in our choices in order to not be left in the cold. We are going to have to think outside the box. We're going to have to go outside of the energies of Mercury and Taurus, because that, like I said, is a slow moving, fixed, pretty streamlined type energy. And we're needing to get outside of that in order to find the solutions that we need in order to keep us from losing whatever this is that we could possibly be losing um, this week. Twos, well, let's start with the swords. Swords are about communication, it's about conflict. It's about intellect. It's about the way we have conversations with people, the way that we think. The swords are, and they, if I hadn't said already, are the ultimate weapon. So we've got two instances here where we're talking about communication, with Mercury in this reading and with the swords in this reading. This is about communication. This is about the way that we think, probably more than anything else in the reading. Now, with the Two of Swords operating under the energies of Moon in Libra, I think that means that there may be some confusion around the choices that we're going to be making this week. And we really need to try to find a balanced way, like Libra suggests, because Libra is the scales. And Libra is about balance and it's about being fair. But I think in this case, it is really, next week, we're going to be really needing to not be confused. We're really needing to, like I said, be creative and think outside of the box and avoid confusion. And the moon can also be about deception. So, to backtrack a little bit, the fives, which is ruled by the major arcana, the Hierophant, um, which the Hierophant is about spirituality, it's about religion, and it's about bringing routine to those sort of things. The Hierophant upright uh, is, he's like a spiritual guru. Um, in the Rider Waite deck, what you'll see is there's somebody who looks like they're sitting on a throne, and this is the Tarot of Dreams deck by Cirio Marchetti, or Marchetti, however you pronounce that. But in the Rider Waite deck, what you'll see is the Hierophant, or this spiritual guru, this political guru who sits on his throne, or what have you. And then there are two patrons that seem to be asking for his advice. Well, like I said, the Hierophant rules the major arcana. Is the Hierophant is the fifth major arcana, and he's here to bring routine to those sort of things, like going to church, like going to the temple, like bringing routine to meditation or whatever it is that you do. But in this case, I'm feeling like there are some choices that need to be made for some of us. We may need to, like I said, when I talked about being creative about our resources, our relationships, or things like that, some of us may be needing to go see a priest, go to a church, go to an organization to help us with our thinking around money or our thinking around relationships, things like that. I feel like that there may be some sort of larger entity involved, which would be, like a church or an organization, a charity. If you're having problems with money, maybe some of us are going to be needing to go and seek some assistance from these organizations. If we're having problems with relationships, maybe we are needing, depending on what your spiritual or religious background is. Some of us may be needing to go talk to one of our spiritual or religious superiors in order to get some different insight than what we've had previously on how to move forward. Because I see this as conflict, like I said, in relationships and money and things. And what this is going to do is this is going to influence our actions. And here we come with the Six of Wands. And if you see this guy, he looks like he's found victory. Yes, indeed. He's found victory. The Six of Wands operates under the energies of of Jupiter, Leo. Well, both of those things like to do things big. Jupiter is about good luck, expansion. Jupiter likes to give us more of the things that we have in life. Sometimes Jupiter can give us more of the things that we don't necessarily want. But oftentimes, Jupiter's goal is to bring good luck to a situation. It's to bring uh, positive expansion. So in this case, I feel like Jupiter wants to help us keep our money, help us to make more money. It wants to help us keep our physical relationships that we have with people optimistic. And Jupiter also rules religion and spirituality and all of those things. So we've got another addition to this religious or spiritual organization. And the more that I read this, the more that I really feel like for this week, there is an overall energy of our spirituality. The choices that we make regarding our spirituality. Um, Committing ourselves or making some different decisions prior to what we've made regarding our religious beliefs, regarding our spirituality, we don't feel left in the cold anymore once we feel like we are part of something. Um, and maybe becoming part of some sort of organization, of some sort of church, of some sort of movement. And there's definitely things out here that we could stand for with all the things going on in the world, which is conflict. And maybe us getting involved in some of these movements, getting involved in some of these charities or organizations may help us to allow Jupiter to increase our resources, our money. I'm not saying to go towards religion and jump up on stage and holler out a bunch of nothing in order to get people to put money in the collection plate. That's not what I mean at all. What I mean is when we dedicate ourselves to something higher, when we realize that uh, there is more to what's going on with us than what we can see and taste and smell and those things, then we automatically come into riches. We come into wealth. Things suddenly start to come into place and we're not left in the cold anymore. That is when we find that victory. That is when we find that power. That is when we find that we are on top of the world. This is a guy who looks like he has done it and he's done it big. And that's what I was saying before with Leo and Jupiter. Both of those are things, are energies that want to do it big. And Leo is the authority, which again could take us back to maybe going to see a priest or a minister or your spiritual guru. This is going to check in with some type of authority to help you make better, balanced choices within your religious beliefs, within your spirituality, within the way that you do things. And this brings us to victory. And I think that that is pretty much what we're going to be dealing with this week. And if I can just, because I might have been a little choppy, just go into it once more. This is about us seeking some sort of authority to help us make better choices. In order for us to get our stuff together, we've got to think outside the box. We've got to be creative. We've got to do something a little bit different than the way that we've done things before. We've got to expand our thinking. And once we do that, we become the victor, and we become that in a big way. Now we're standing and we're ready to take on everything. And that is the way I see it, everybody. Thank you. And I hope to see you again next week.